Bryan Callen was accused of sexual misconduct today and assault. I woke up to this Los Angeles Times article. And we're going to get into all this right now. I feel like I need to read the whole thing before I comment on this, so give me a sec. All right. I fucking hate cancel culture, but I also hate men who take advantage of women or weak people. I think that it's very fair to say that Bryan Callen and Chris D'Elia, just to throw him in because I feel like he is worth bringing up. I think it's very fair to say that they were both pieces of shit in their younger days, and maybe still are, or maybe still were, or whatever. It's such a complicated situation because I would bet that over 90% of men were pieces of shit when they were younger. And if given the type of power that this guy had, they would have done this and worse. I think that as a culture, as a world, we are evolving past our animalistic behaviors. And unfortunately, there are fall guys who are forced to bear that cross. And it sucks because I was a piece of shit. Okay, I have tried to kiss girls who pulled away from me, and I've been like a little assertive, I guess, or aggressive when trying to be with females. Never, ever have I ever done any sort of hold somebody down while they're saying no type shit. Never that. But God, I was a fucking piece of shit. And I have changed. I have a family. I have 2 daughters. I have a little cat over there, a wife. And I look back at the boy that I was, and I cringe, and I'm disappointed. And every day I try my hardest to improve and be better. And on top of, being like a little like, trying to kiss a girl or whatever, being like weird and just like, I don't know. I was also a piece of shit mentally, and I was very, very mentally abusive, I'd say. Like I would never call names or be mean or nothing like that. But it was almost like I played so many games with these girls and cared so little about them when it really came down to it, and way more about myself. As the years went on, I started to understand like, oh, I am being a piece of shit to these girls and they don't deserve it. And I've apologized to the ones that I could get in contact with. Even, a girl from 7th grade who I was her boyfriend. I listen to Bryan Callen a lot. I'm a big fan. I listen to him like every 3 days on his podcast and stuff. I'm a big fan of Chris D'Elia as well. Pieces of shit in their younger years, I'd say absolutely. Do they deserve to have their entire careers taken away? I don't know. If Chris D'Elia was actually taking advantage of underage girls, then absolutely. But maybe that's just a caveman mind state. Like, oh, he wasn't raping them. He wasn't being a child molester, so he's fine. He was just being a piece of shit to impressionable, weak women. But maybe that's, like I said, just a dumb mind state and something I need to evolve past and be like, oh, being a piece of shit to young, impressionable women is very, very wrong and not okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think it's just like when you have daughters, I have 2 daughters, and I think about this shit like, oh my God, like if I found out that there was a man or a boy out there treating them the way I treated girls in my past, I would lose my shit. And everything changes when you put yourself in when you think about life in that perspective. But you don't think about life that way when you're a young man or a boy. You don't. And it's like, I think that we need to give some people a break sometimes. And the only break that I'm saying that we give them is when these accusations come up, not necessarily that we just throw it under the rug, brush it under the rug or whatever, but we look for facts, we look for actions, and we give this man and his team time to respond or to defend himself. And I think that is kind of one of the cooler, I don't know, the more respectful parts of this article is that they actually let Bryan Callen respond before actually putting the story out. I'm assuming this is why Callen has not been on the Fighter and the Kid podcast for a couple episodes. As much as it looks like Bryan Callen was as much of a piece of shit as Chris D'Elia was, if not more so. Almost. I'll tell you right now. 5 minutes. YouTube Kids?
No, it's, you know how we have that Callie doll? Not Callie, Chelsea doll?
Mm-hmm.
That's Chelsea doll.
Whoa, that's cool. Doll. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. I love you.
Love you. That's what I'm saying. Like, if there's a grown man who took advantage of that little girl when she was 19 years old because she wanted to be a star and she looked up to him and he intricately brainwashed and manipulated her into disgusting things, I would want that man in jail for the rest of his life. I would want him killed. And it's almost like you got to put things into that type of perspective or maybe find a balance, because obviously that's a very, very strong stance. But damn, I wanted to comment on this because I follow Chris a lot and I follow Chris's story and I don't think many people are talking about how Chris's story, he did come back with responses and screenshots, and it looks like a lot of those girls who accused him of shit were actually hitting him up, and he actually, when he found out they were underage, he was like, okay, bye. He didn't know it was a mistake. Chris D'Elia is not a fucking child molester or a pedophile, and I think that the meme of Chris D'Elia has grown past the facts, and that is an issue. And like I said, I think that assuming something of someone before reading this long ass article like I didn't really want to, but I did. But and just making decisions based off of that and stuff is, I don't know, it's just give it time, read, research. They at the very least deserve that, these guys. You know, look into it. And if they're pieces of shit, they're fucking pieces of shit. Fuck them. Fuck them. I love Chris D'Elia. I was a huge fucking fan. Still am. I mean, I don't know. There's not much to be a fan of anymore. He's not creating anything. But I really liked him and I like him. I kind of jumped on the bandwagon of like, oh, he's a fucking pedophile, and it fucking tripped me out. And it was, I didn't know what to do. And then I read the article or the accusations, and then I looked at his responses and I was like, oh, okay. So he's not a fucking pedophile. He's just a piece of shit, or was. Yeah, but like I said, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's just an old school mentality. I don't know. I don't normally talk about this type of shit, but I listen to Callen a lot and Chris D'Elia a lot. And at the very least, I think the thing I wanted to get across here is read the articles, read the accusations, let the people defend themselves. I think that, you know, this whole idea of cancel culture can be positive in a sense, because it's calling out the pieces of shit in the world. That's beautiful. The internet is doing a good thing about calling people out who deserve it. Bill Cosby, R. Kelly. This new wave of cancel culture or whatever has fucking positives to it, but it needs to be done the right way. I think that doing it the right way, no matter what the situation is, unless there's actual solid factual evidence, we need to give both parties their time to defend themselves. And it almost feels like there should be some sort of like a court system for this type of shit, because yeah, I don't know. We're going to see in 10 years what cancel culture is like, and or 5 years even, and go from there, I guess. So I wish that these dudes would not go into hiding every time shit like this happens. I wish that they would defend themselves. And I know that that's kind of like a dumb, probably PR move, but fucking discuss it. Don't just, you going into hiding almost makes it seem true. the fact that Chris D'Elia has not continued his podcast and responded with his own words, you know, and nobody knows about that little post his team made or whatever with the screenshots. I don't know. It is what it is. I just wish they would talk about it so that people can grow from it, whatever. We'll see how it goes.